Okay, that's the rear brake done. We're gonna flush the fluid through on the front brake. Again, this has just got the reservoir there. I've already emptied the old crud out and put some fresh in. What we'll be doing is using this brake lever here, and we'll be pressing on that just the same as we did with the foot brake for the rear. And so we'll be squeezing that, opening bleed nipple, which is down there, and when we compress it, we close the bleed nipple and then release the lever back. Don't let it snap out, just release it gently, hold for about 2 seconds, then compress and carry on the process. So we'll probably be looking at the way this fluid is, maybe three or four of them, and we should be done. So I'm just going to leave the camera on the brake nipple, the caliper bleed nipple. So I'm just, strangely, the back bleed nipple was 10mm. This is actually an 8mm one, so I had to get another little spanner out. Now with this tube on, I can use the bleeder on it, the vacuum bleeder, but what we'll do is we'll just leave that like that for now, and we'll just use the tube to bleed off, because this is probably how most of you will do it. Okay, so I'll just put that off there. Okay, bit of pressure on the brake lever, open, shut. You'd be surprised with the front one, actually is a bit easier to do than the back one. Some people do this really quickly, and I never have done. I've always took my time, and I've never had any issues, touch black, to date with bleeding brakes. I've heard people blood brakes and had nothing but absolutely nightmare with air still in the system, everything. So then I've watched them breed the brakes, and they've even gone out and bought themselves one of these one-man bleeder kits and everything. I do have like a little rubber tube that goes on here that you can put in a jar, and that will have a one-way valve in it. So once that tube's immersed in some brake fluid, then if we do get a suck back, it's not going to happen, because the little valve will stop fluid from coming back up the pipe. So yeah, this brake even now feels really firm. Not a lot of movement. The fluid is going down, but there's not a lot of movement. That's why sometimes the pressure bleeder, the vacuum bleeder, is better, because it can suck stuff out a lot quicker. I wish I'd put it on my bigger compressor now, not my small one. Small one for doing something like this. I have done it. It's just the compressor just keeps coming on every 5 fucking seconds. The bigger one, you can get quite a few routines done before. And this is painstakingly boring. Right. It's part of the job. It's got to be done. And you just gotta, you know, if you don't have a pressure bleeder, you know, if I've got one because I used to use it a lot, but my old one broke, and that's a new one, and it just doesn't seem as good as the other one that I had. I believe there's one you can get that's like a pump action one, so you can connect it up and actually use a hand like it's like a stirrup pump on it, which then sucks the fluid out. Yeah, so yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? You just don't. I mean, that's not the same as my other one. I'm sitting here. I'm on a little stool, resting my back, and I can see the fluid going into the bottle from here. So I'll just keep doing this, push it through, and it's not got a great bit of trouble. Probably won't need 3. Probably only need, I'll do a second reservoir, and then just check the pressure, and if that's fine, that should do it. Really nice and clean fluid in there, and one without high moisture content, because the brake fluid I've got scored a green, which means it's less than, I think it's 1%. I'll have to double check that. So that's fine. You can, when you get the amber light on the tester, it just says, you know, consider changing. If you get a red, you should change it straight away. And for some reason we got a red, and I'm sure when I tested these before, I didn't get a red, but as I say, I've got 2 testers there, and it might have been the one where the battery's gone on it, so the battery might have been low, so it wasn't that great, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I'll have to put a fresh battery in that other one, or just leave it and wait till the other one goes, and then replace both batteries. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I remember these getting, the fork seals were done on these, because one of the fork seals was leaking. I didn't do it, a mate of mine did it, and I noticed one of the, when you look at the yoke at the top, the left hand side one is a little bit higher. So this stanchion here is a little bit higher on the left hand side. Easy fix, we can just slacken that off and just give it a top as he's at. The one on the right hand side looks about right. On the left hand side looks a bit, so it might be, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to wait until we get the bike back in here, I'll do that. Although I say that, but you know, at the end of the day. Right, so I'm just going to top this reservoir up, give it another flush, and then what we're going to do is call that a day on the brakes. So I'm sure you don't want to see me just continually opening and closing the brake nipple. So what we'll do is we'll just turn it off for now, and I'll come back to you later. Right, okay, that's the brakes done. All fresh fluid flushed through. I cheated a bit on the front brake. I can't understand, you know, when someone's niggling you, I can't understand why this vacuum bleeder wouldn't work. Didn't take me long to find out. The bloody bottle on the bottom, this bottle bit here, the container, wasn't fucking screwed on tight enough. It was loose, so it wasn't creating that vacuum inside the unit as it should do. Anyway, sorted. So banged three full levels through, nice clear fluid coming out the other side, brakes nice and firm, and yeah, we'll see what that's like in the morning. and whatever. Anyway, what I've got to do now is I want to try this 50-50 startup from cold, and let it come up to temperature, run it through the gears a bit, get it warmed up a bit, and yeah, and drop the gearbox oil. Then leave that overnight, and tomorrow just top the gearbox oil back up, and then for now we're looking at moving this Aprilia out of here and getting the DE in, not DE, the RE in, but I need a bit of a mega clean up in here first before I do anything. So maybe tomorrow and Tuesday will be just spent cleaning, giving everything a good sweep down and clean up and everything, tools put away and everything that are scattered all over the place. Yeah, so oh, there was something I was going to show you. Where did I put them? Oh yeah, here we are. Some of you car mechanics or actual mechanics will know what these are. I've had these, I've got a selection of these, loads of different sizes and types, and also I've got, just bear with me a minute, I'll just take one as a sample, if I can find the bloody thing. Just bear with me. This is what happens when you don't plan forward. Oh God, no. Oh, there we are. Right, okay. Right, so the first one I want to show you, if you're car mechanics and that, you noticed I was using a ring spanner to undo the bleed nipple and everything. Now on cars you have brake pipes and you can't get a ring spanner on, but you can, because there's special ones, and I'm going to show it you now. So the special ones, some of you will know, are these, and if you look very carefully, these are just a hand. I've got a couple of more different sizes, but the idea of the notch in the top there is so it can slide over a brake pipe, and then you can get to the fitting and undo the fittings. Nice, eh? Because if you use just a normal open ender, sometimes these brake lines are over tightened, especially if they've been on a while and it's a steel pipe. When you replace brake pipes these days, it's going to be copper. And the only reason why they don't fit them to new cars, because life would be a lot fucking easier and it wouldn't rust away, apart from the fittings, is that it costs too much. When you're producing a lot of cars, it all adds up, the pennies add up, and it's a cost that you don't need to. But when you're replacing the steel pipe, you use copper anyway, because one, it's easier to form the ends, and two, it's easy to work with and bend. Yeah, so that's car mechanics would know what they are. And also I found, well, I haven't found, I had for a long time, it's one of these. And I've got a couple of these with different size square connections on, and I'm just wondering, do you know what these are for? Because I do, because I used to use it a lot, not so much these days. Right, on old brake systems, especially rear brakes, to adjust the clearance on the brake shoes on the back, you had a snail, what we call a snail adjuster. So it's basically a cam that got bigger and bigger on one side. Imagine a snail shell, yeah, getting bigger and bigger, right? Same sort of thing, the cam's very similar to that. And on the back of the back plate was a little square end that stuck out. So what you used to do was you used to turn it, click, equalise the brakes out, try it, turn it until you just got it where it just either just off feathering, and that's how you used to adjust your rear brake shoes. Obviously modern ones now got self-adjust, they're usually disc brakes on the back now, and they're self-adjusting, all front caliper pads, brake calipers are always self-adjusting, but you still have, some cars still have drum brakes on the back. It's very rare now, but if you've got drum brakes on the back, you probably won't have anything like this. Girling used to have like a little rod with a ratchet wheel on it, and what you used to do was you used to take the drum off, and the idea was you used to use the handbrake, and that used to just rotate on the ratchet and then spread the shoes out until it couldn't push it out anymore, and that was your adjustment. The only trouble with them is, but every time, if you ever changed the brake shoes on the back, you had to strip this rod down, clean it out completely until it was completely free running, because the little arm that used to connect to the ratchet wheel was so flimsy, and it was on a spring, and it didn't take much pressure for it to just flick off. So you had to make sure that was spot on. So every time you did a rear brake service or change rear brake shoes, you had to strip this down, give it a good cleaning, wire brush it and all the threads and everything, and then lube it all up with some light grease, maybe Vaseline or something like that. Nothing thick and gooey. But the other alternative, what I've done in the past, was where the actuator was on the back plate, used to drill a little hole and get a little pushing grommet to go in the hole afterwards, and used to just put a little screwdriver in, and then used to just flip the wheel. Interesting what you learn over the years, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, let's see if this motorbike will start up on a 50-50 mix. That's normal unleaded with 5% ethanol. Okie dokie, let's go.